friends, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm back with another Enchanted by Nature speed build. Honestly, I feel like the upcoming few videos will still be Enchanted by Nature focused because it is still a new pack and I just can't get enough of the new world. I think the new world is so pretty. It has a lot to offer, I feel. And for this speed build, we're back in the neighborhood of Everdew, which is the fairy neighborhood. I feel like they're all kind of fairy neighborhoods, but this one is like the real fairy neighborhood where you actually have to go swim in the lake, you know, like that lake of emotions. I forget what it's called exactly, if you're turning into a fairy or if you want to like recharge your fairy's emotional force. Like this is that specific area. And we're building on, oh gosh, I think it's a 40 by 30 lot. I just checked it a few minutes ago, and of course I have already forgotten the size, but I think it's a 40 by 30. By default, this is a quote-unquote empty lot. There's no build on this lot, but there is like a gorgeous pond and just some really pretty landscaping. So it is a really great lot to play a Rags to Riches or play with a sim that likes to live off the land, that likes to do all the natural living skill related things, and they don't really need a house or want a house for that matter. That's what that's perfect for. But I thought it'd be really fun to actually sit down and build a small cottage on this lot. So as you can see, I did my fair share of landscaping. I created a pond sort of thing, or like a pond slash stream. Well, I mean, I guess it's a pond, but it's slightly bigger because I wanted to build a really small house, but the lot is pretty spacious, of course. So in order to do that, and in order to just, you know, have some fun with the vibes for this one in particular, I wanted to do some extra landscaping and then build a really small fairy house, sort of like in a swamp. Well, I mean, it's not really what it is, but that's kind of the vibes that I was going for regardless. I feel like you can kind of tell. And for this one, I was inspired to sit down and build something a little bit more on the gloomy side of things. So it is still very whimsical and magical, but make it darker. So storyline wise, this is a tiny cottage for a dark fairy. I thought that would be really fun. Over on Twitch, I did also do a, well, I guess you could call it a mini Let's Play where we played some Rags to Fairies. And I really tried to explore the more mischievous side of things when it comes to the fairies and like the more evil or dark kind of side of things. And I thought that was so fun, and I thought it was so much fun to actually also create a dark fairy in CAS. We have so many gorgeous, gloomy, more goth type colors in this pack for a lot of the CAS items to really make a dark fairy, and you can like have like darker colored wings, and all the blacks and like dark purples and dark blues were so perfect for that. So I was kind of inspired by that one fairy that we created in CAS, and that inspired me to basically just build a house that is a little bit less cutesy whimsical and a little bit more dark whimsical. So that is what we're doing here, and I had so much fun with this. I thought this was so much fun. As you can tell, I kind of went off of the Hobbit house vibes where I placed a lot of roofs also on the side of the lot to really give it that whimsical fairy tale Hobbit house type of a look and feel. So that's what I was going for. And then here I created a little bridge over the pond with a small greenhouse in the back out of those glass walls that we got in the base game update, but the ones that I used here in particular are the ones from the new pack. So I used those. I thought that was so fun. And then I actually ended up using a roof texture from Werewolves, the one that's kind of more broken and also has some skylights in it. I thought that was kind of fun because I did want to make this, I guess you could call it evil looking a little bit. And I felt like the rundown roof texture was perfect for that. So I was definitely combining some packs for this one as well. Sorry, there's some loud construction going on. I'm not sure if you can hear that at all, but it is a little bit much. They've been really loud all day, and I really thought I had picked a quiet moment, but seems like they're going at it again. I hope it's not too much. But anyway, yeah, so this is going to be for a dark or evil fairy. As you can see, I placed the ghost cow plant in the greenhouse. I thought that would somehow add some value or something fun to the storyline for this one. As I sat down to build this one, I hadn't really thought of a specific storyline. I was building it over on Twitch, so it was really fun to just kind of chat about it with the people in my chat to see what we could come up with together. And color-wise, wise, as you can see, I was definitely going for the darker colors. I am obsessed with the purple tones in Enchanted by Nature for a lot of the build by objects. I think it's so pretty. You can see that I used a roof texture here on the house that also has that purple going on, and then the swatch that I picked for most of the doors and windows has that darker green and then also that purple color, and it's just absolutely stunning. I am obsessed with that color. So yeah, you can tell that the house is getting a little bit of character now. I personally love the rounded bump out, kind of like we were calling it a mushroom bump out here on the side of the lot or of the house. And then especially with those little dormers on the roof, I thought it was so cute. And then of course we had to go ahead and decorate the roof with plants. I placed a few holes in the roof as well. I really wanted this house to look a little bit more on the rundown side of things, I guess. So I did use a mixture of more rundown items and details on the house as well. And one of the things I had the most fun with for this house in particular was the roof decorations. I just really loved this. I placed a lot of debug items on the roof. So these aren't really necessarily things that slot to the roof. I did use some of those as well. But for the most part, I just went crazy with some debug plants and mushrooms and things. Place that on the roof and make it look very overgrown and magical in that sense, and a little bit mysterious is definitely what I was going for too. So yeah, I had the time of my life. I keep saying that for all of my builds with Enchanted by Nature, but I'm just insanely inspired by this pack still. I absolutely love it. I think my next build that I'm going to do with this pack is going to be in the Coast of Admore neighborhood. So I think I'm going to try to do something a little bit more normal, I guess, but very colorful, I think is what I want to do for that one. But I'm not sure. I haven't started it yet. I'm actually going to start that build over on Twitch later today. Well, I mean, a few days ago when you're watching this on YouTube. So that doesn't make any sense. But safe to say that I'm just very excited for this pack still, and I love it. And it seems that a lot of you are having fun with this one as well. Judging by the comments that I'm getting, I feel like a lot of people are excited about this, and a lot of people are inspired for different types of storylines, also to combine different occults and all those things, and that is so much fun. I have yet to do a little bit more gameplay myself with the fairies in combination with other occults. I am playing also over on Twitch. I hope that's not too annoying, but I'm playing Not So Berry over there as well. And I do have a werewolf in my household that I'm currently playing, and also a new fairy. That sim literally just turned into a fairy, so I'm excited to see what I can do gameplay-wise. When it comes to fairies and werewolves, I think that's going to be very interesting to check out and look at to see what that has to offer. But yeah, here you can see I'm doing a bunch of landscaping, mostly debug. I feel like 95% of this landscaping is debug. I'm placing a lot of trees and tree trunks, and just again making it look very overgrown and kind of swampy. And I don't know, it's just a really fun vibe, especially because I had so much space on this lot and the house is so small, so I had a bunch of room for landscaping. And once I get in the zone of landscaping, I don't know, I just can't be stopped. I feel like, to me, it's so relaxing, and just I can completely zone out and just scroll through the debug menu and place plans where I see fit, and like make everything slowly but surely come together in that sense. I found some really pretty purple plants from both vampires but also from the camping pack, what's it called, Outdoor Retreat. So I had some really beautiful purple plants to use here, and then just a lot of swampy things like vines and kind of like low-lying bushes. I found some cute mushrooms in Get to Work. I kind of forgot about those, so those are really fun to use as well. And then yeah, I just did a bunch of landscaping around the pond and such, and tried to make it look very magical and enchanted in that sense. But yeah, when it comes to the storyline for this fairy, we were thinking of one fairy living in this house. The house is decorated for one fairy. There's only one single bed. I mean, fairies don't necessarily need a bed. They can sleep wherever, and also in those like little fairy houses. And I placed one of those very fairy houses here on the lot too. So you don't necessarily need a house for fairies, or a bed for fairies, I should say. So I guess you could have as many fairies as you want in this house. But storyline wise, I was thinking of just one evil fairy or dark fairy. Should I say evil? I mean, I guess evil, you know, because what we were thinking is that I'm not sure exactly what happened, but in her house, or on the inside of this house, you'll see that we ended up placing a portrait that's a portrait of probably her mother or maybe her grandmother or something. And something has happened to her. I'm not sure what exactly, but this fairy currently is definitely out for revenge. So I came across these fairy statues, these gargoyles or statues from vampires. I'm so sad we only have one like actual fairy statue with wings, because I would have loved a couple of different ones, because we were thinking that those fairy statues aren't actually statues. You know, they look like statues now, but they're actually real fairies turned to stone. So I ended up placing a bunch of, or at least a few more, like statues of random people in the pond and just like around the place. And we were kind of thinking that those Sims are actually fairies turned to stone. So I don't know how she goes about it, but she also does have a cauldron outside, so something is going on there. And then obviously she has that ghost cow plant in her greenhouse. So yeah, I'm not sure what exactly goes on. I do feel like in my brain she would definitely be like a spellcaster fairy hybrid, or maybe she's a spellcaster disguised as a fairy, and that's how she goes about her life and how she tricks people into, I don't know, doing something, coming over, and then she turns them to stone because she is out for revenge. I feel like it is her goal to basically unalive all the fairies or something like that. Something disturbing like that, I feel like, is what would be going on in her brain. And yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking of. So we don't really have all the details for the storyline. We just know that there is something going on with those fairies turned to stone. I do think it's like a reversible sort of curse. So they could be unstonified, if you will. I feel like that is definitely a possibility. So I don't know, maybe another fairy has to come to the rescue or something. But yeah, this fairy, is she a fairy? Is she a spellcaster? Who really knows? You know what I mean? She's dark. She is out for revenge. She wants to unalive fairy kind because they did something to, be it her mom or her grandmother or her great grandmother, or maybe all of the above. You know, that's also a possibility. Something happened there in her history, and she is out to get the fairies. That's basically the storyline that we were thinking of here, and I just had a lot of fun with the mystery around it. I kind of like that we didn't figure out exactly what goes on, because it basically, like I said, leaves that mystery element in there. If you have any other ideas storyline wise, or if this sparks inspiration for you, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think this fairy slash spellcaster would get up to exactly? We know that she turns fairies to stone. I'm sure that's not the only thing she does, but there are a couple of statues. There are also a couple of gravestones in the back, kind of hidden behind the trees, so you can't really see them that well. So yeah, there's something going on over there as well. Or maybe those are the gravestones of her mom, grandma, and great grandmother or something like that. That's also an option, of course. So yeah, I don't know, but something goes on there, and it's dark and mysterious and dangerous and scary. And that's essentially what we were going for with this entire build. As you can see, I did basically decorate I did all the landscaping for this one. We have a wishing well on the lot as well. We have a cauldron. There is a couple of planter pots and stuff. She probably does something gardening wise as well. We also have a telescope out on the bridge, so that's kind of fun. And obviously, I feel like you don't have to obviously use this for an evil fairy per se, but I do think if you're going for the more dark fairy aesthetic, like goth fairy aesthetic, and you're doing the more, I guess, mean gameplay, you could call it, when it comes to fairies, this would be a really fun house to use. I feel like that would definitely fit the aesthetic and the vibe, and I don't know, I feel like this would be a really cute one to use. It's kind of nice because it's really tiny, so I think you could definitely play with the tiny house perks. Obviously, I did build also a little greenhouse in the back, but I feel like it's definitely still a small home, so under 100 tiles. Don't know if it would be under 64 tiles per se, but it is definitely small. So if you do have tiny living, you could definitely get some skill building perks for this one, reduced builds and all those things. So that's really convenient for gameplay as well. if you want to become like a pro fairy fast, then I feel like those perks would definitely be very helpful. But yeah, I'm doing some more landscaping here. I figured I should place, aside from plants, I should also just place some more objects outside. So we have a little bench by the front door. I also placed a picnic table here with some gardening items on it, like some little planter pots and some decorations from the greenhouse kit as well. I feel like that matches really well with this pack too. And then after that, we are moving on to the inside of the house. And as you can tell, it is just really small. It's a really small house. It's all one room except for the bathroom. We do have essentially a full-size bathroom, but I did go for a tub instead of a shower, and that obviously takes up a little bit more space. So in the bathroom, we don't have a sink. We only have a toilet and a tub, but I feel like that's okay and kind of realistic for a tiny home anyway. And we do have a sink in the kitchen, obviously, so that should all work out. But yeah, I had a lot of fun going for the darker colors from the for the items from Enchanted by Nature as well. I tend to go for the more wood tones and like lighter, cozy colors, but for this one, obviously, we're going for a different aesthetic. So it was really fun to, for example, use these kitchen counters in black. The only thing I noticed, which happens a lot with different counters as well, is that the black, like the color for the upper cabinets or overhead cabinets versus the countertops aren't the same. Like there is a slight difference in the color between the two, and it is the most annoying thing in the world. I feel like if you don't notice it, it's fine, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I'm sorry to mention it, but I feel like it is just so annoying. And I don't know why this happens. It could have something to do with my reshade that I'm using, but I'm also seeing a color difference when I'm not using reshade. So maybe the reshade kind of makes it look worse than it is, but the color difference between countertops and cabinets, it is just really annoying to me. And I really hope that someday that will not be the case, but you know, for these, or at least for the countertops in this particular swatch, it is the case. So yeah, there's that. But then yeah, of course we have a really small kitchen, and I went for a 2-seater table. The way I laid this out, I kind of took up a little bit of space for the kitchen. I could have done a smaller kitchen, but I just really like the kitchen stuff in this pack, and I thought it'd be nice to have a larger kitchen. So we don't necessarily have a living room space, but we do have a bedroom space and also a small 2-seater love seat in there as well. So I feel like, you know, all of this tiny home is essentially a kitchen and then a place to sleep, which I guess is fine. There is, like I said, a 2-seater couch still as well, but not necessarily like a dedicated living room space. We do have a 2-seater dining table in here, which is nice. And then I ended up placing this really cool cabinet. I've been wanting to use this in combination with the items from Enchanted by Nature for so long. That really cool potions cabinet from Realm of Magic, I felt like was absolutely perfect for the aesthetics of this house. So I had to do it also for the storyline. I feel like this evil fairy slash spellcaster, she definitely does something with potions, because she does have a cauldron out on her little bridge area outside as well. I know that's kind of out for everyone to see, so it's not very secretive or anything, but maybe whatever goes on or like what she does is a secret. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought that cauldron just looked really cute out on the bridge, so I had to place it there anyway. But yeah, here you can see we have moved on to the bedroom area, and I'm using this bed from Werewolves in combination with that little canopy from Enchanted by Nature, and I just love the combination. Again, it was perfect for the aesthetic of this house, and I just feel like it looks so pretty, especially in the black swatch for both of them. And then the bed frame, I guess you could call it, it's basically built out of like pallets and stuff, is like a dark brown. So that was perfect for the color scheme that I was already going for. And then I used this little cabinet thing, or like little shelf thing from the Horse Ranch pack, and I thought that one was so pretty too. Like the dark color, the slightly more used looking wood on that item, it just looks really, really pretty. And then I placed a 2-seater couch from Crystal Creations. I've talked about this already also in my previous build that I did, but I love the combination of this pack and Crystal Creations. I feel like it just belongs together, so that was a really nice thing to use. I also used some items from Life and Death in here, but then I went for a bookcase here in the entry from Realm of Magic too. So I definitely used some items from Realm of Magic. I came across this really cute 1-tile desk from Werewolves, but unfortunately I didn't really have a space to put it because it has like a higher up like back, if that makes sense. And I was looking for something to merge with this bookshelf. So I went for this smaller desk. I think it's from Parenthood, but I could be wrong. In a dark brown color. Aesthetic wise, it doesn't really match perfectly, but I kind of like merged it into the bookcase anyway, so you can't really see it that well. And then I just placed some art from Life and Death as well. And then I ended up using a little accent wall in the bedroom area. Like I used that stone wallpaper on the inside. I thought it was nice to have a little accent wall for something a little bit different. And it just really looked cute in that like rounded area. It was the best place to have a little accent wallpaper. And then I placed a wooden bathtub, which is base game, and then obviously the mossy toilet from the new pack. That was perfect. And then in the back we have that that greenhouse. So I went on the gallery and downloaded a ghost cow plant, which is also from Life and Death. I thought that was just the perfect cow plant to place versus a live one. I felt like this ghost one was the best way to go. And then we just have some planters and things in here because I did really want this to be a functional space. So we have an apothecary table and some planters, so you can actually do some skill building and obviously hide sort of your ghost cow plant in there as well. But then that's it for this build. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the dark cottage in the game. I don't know who's visiting right now. Lark Gray. I think she is about to be turned to stone. I'm not sure if she's a fairy, but I would like you to go home, please and thank you. Oh, she is a fairy. There she goes. Goodbye. You got lucky. You won't be turned to stone today. Anyway, yeah, this is the house. It's very overgrown. As you can see, I had, one might say, a little bit too much fun with the ivy and the vines and the mushrooms and the wisteria and all the things. There's a lot that goes on the exterior of this house, but I personally love it. It blends in with the landscaping and I don't know, I think it's fun. Then over here, of course, we have that large pond. There is just a bunch of landscaping going on. We have a little well here. And then out here, you can see that we have some of those fairies turned to stone. I feel like these look really sad, like they're doing something to that little plant, and there's also a child. So, you know, this very truly is evil. There's a lady out here. She didn't see it coming either. And then we have a couple people back here as well that look very dramatic back there. So yeah, not sure what happened to them, but it wasn't good. Out here on the bridge, there's a really small staircase kind of hidden here to make sure that you can actually get up on the bridge. And then over here we have a telescope. There is a cauldron, some planters, and then this bridge leads you into the greenhouse. And inside of the greenhouse is where we have an angry, hungry cow plant. So that's not good. And then we also have the apothecary table in here. And again, just a couple of planters so you can actually use this space. Then moving on to the house itself, it's of course really, really small. Actually, now that we're here, we might as well see how many tiles this lot is in total. Ah, okay, so we did go over 100 tiles. I really didn't see that coming. I thought we would have less. But of course we have that bridge. I forgot about that. That bridge counts towards the tile count. That's annoying. I'm sorry, I lied to you. It is not functional as a tiny home. Forgive me. It's still cute and small though. So here, when you first walk into the house, we just have an entry with a bookcase and a small desk. I love this bookcase from Realm of Magic. I'm falling in love with the Realm of Magic items. I think now that we have this pack, I'm finally appreciating them a little bit more because it blends together so nicely. So that's really fun to see. Then over on this side in the rounded area is where we have the bedroom. So we have this bed from Werewolves with that canopy and then just some storage. I also used this item from Batu, so there is a little bit of Batu in this build as well. And then a small love seat over here. On this side, we have the kitchen and dining. So we have a small 2-seater table and then a cluttered up kitchen. I even placed a little cobweb in here, and then I left this counter free of decorations. So that should be functional for cooking. I will say maybe this thingy from Realm of Magic is in the way, but if that's the case, you can obviously just delete it. There's some bookcases here, a bunch of plants, and then that portrait of be it her mom or grandmother or great-grandmother, I'm not exactly sure. And then in this corner, we have a back door and then some storage for potions and a mirror. In the back here behind the kitchen is where we have the bathroom, and this one's really simple. We just have a wooden tub and then a toilet, of course, as well. But then that is it for this build. So this Dark Fairy cottage is up on the gallery as a residential. It is not too expensive, but also I thought it would be cheaper than this. It is just under 60,000 simoleons, so there is that. I built it on a 40 by 30 in the world of Innisgreen in the neighborhood of Everdew on the watering hole lot. And it has 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom total. But that's gonna do it for today's video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery. Like I just showed you, my username on the gallery is Simmery Sims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmery Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you'd like to get notified every time I upload, just click that bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmery Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!